Greetings everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of my Painting the Thousand Torii Gates series. Today I am going to be adding some more red to the gates in the shrines, because right now they're still looking a little bit too green for my tastes, and clearly, as you can see in my reference photo, they are supposed to be red. So really that's all I'm doing. I'm just mixing different transparent-ish layers of red and just kind of washing them over what I currently have. But right now, this is really the only bit of major changing that I did. I repositioned one of my pieces of light that comes through on the top of the shrine to be one slat forward, if that makes sense. I'll zoom in on the reference photo here, but in my painting it's too far down, so I just moved it up one, and then I covered over with some darker paint, the old one, so that it blends into the rest of the painting. And I also started adding in some more of my really light sections where the sunlight comes through, and so really you're supposed to do this at the very end, but I just wanted to get some white in there because I wanted to make sure that I had a nice value so that I could start building up layers and make that as light as possible. So my colors for today are everything that we've seen before. So I have cadmium red hue, pyrrole orange, cadmium yellow medium hue, titanium white, yellow ochre, ultramarine, and burnt sienna. So I use the yellow ochre mixed with burnt sienna and ultramarine to make the kind of like weather beaten shrine color, because yellow ochre makes every other color look more blah, like it makes colors look disgusting, which is very useful when you're a painter. Because sometimes you need disgusting colors to make things look realistic. So right now I am working on the shrines at the back of the photo, because in the last episode I had repositioned where the roof comes and meets the vertical shrine bits, the columns, and so I needed to move some of my marks over so that they lined up with the rest of the painting. So I'm just going back and forth between my colors. I had several brushes today that I was alternating between. So I had an angular, I think they're called leaf brushes, I'm not sure about that though. But I was using that kind of brush to do my highlights at the beginning, and then later on I used that with my blech yellow ochre color. And then I also had a little round brush that I was doing some little highlights at the bottom with. You can't really see them in the video, but there's kind of like grassy shapes that I wanted to try and get in today. And then I had more of a flat brush that I was using to wash in the reds of the shrines. And you can notice that I'm not really doing them all at once. That's because I was using slightly different variations of red for each different column. Because in the photo, like, they aren't all the same red, they are kind of differentiated, with like different values and different like amounts of yellow. Some of them are more gray than others. So I was doing them kind of in stripes, like no real logical order, just kind of what I had on my brush at the time. So I was like reserving times that I had lots of red for I think it's the third shrine down, which I do have in there already. It's really red. So I had basically just plain cadmium red on my brush at that point. But for a lot of the other ones, I would mix it with my cadmium yellow or maybe my yellow ochre, and all of them had my titanium white. And later on in the episode, you'll see that I take a really like salmony pink color to the back of the shrines, because like I couldn't quite get the right light color I think I'm gonna dry brush that over later. But a lot of the reds in this photo aren't really like your standard, like, crayon red. Some of them are really pink, some of them are basically just orange. So that was kind of something that I had to wrap my head around when I was doing this painting. Because not everything, like, I'd mix a color thinking, yes, this is really what I need, and then I'd put it up against my painting and it would be so wrong. So I'd have to go back and add some more white or add some more yellow. And something that I learned in this episode was that my cadmium yellow medium hue is it's really stringy for some reason. So, like, I don't know, it's almost slimy. It's a really weird consistency, but it's really thin. So whenever I add it to my red color, and red is always like a really, really strong color. If you've ever washed your reds with your whites in the laundry, you know that red is very strong. So when I added my cadmium yellow to my cadmium red, the cadmium yellow, I always had to have like buckets full of the yellow to make it even remotely orange. So I think next time I come back to this painting, I'm gonna start with my yellow and then add the red. That seems like a better option than using like a whole tube of yellow to get just a smidgen of orange. But sometimes I would also add some pyrrole orange to my reds, which didn't really have the same effect as adding yellow. It actually made my reds like deeper than if I just had regular red. So it's kind of interesting. Here's a little timeline of my painting. As you can see, it's gotten gradually more red over the course of the episodes. There we have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Sayonara, everyone.